The great journey of life. We walked up into life. We found ourselves here. We encountered so many different people with so many different names, and the name was put upon us. Then we grew up identifying with this vibration. But yet, outside of that vibration, others would choose to stamp upon you words, vibrations upon you that you, in your conscious mind, don't identify yourself to those vibrations. They identify and associate you to these frequencies of thought that create a negative reality in their own minds about you. Meanwhile, you are just going about your business on this planet just like everybody else. You realize this because something in you has gotten you to realize that you are not even your name. You are now identifying with a certain frequency, a frequency that brings about understanding, a frequency that brings about compassion, a frequency that brings about forgiveness, even for them thinking the way they think. Oh, bless Yeshua. He said, forgive them, for they know not what they're doing. So now you understand it. In our ignorance, we fear that which we don't understand. In our ignorance, we tend to label things that we don't understand, limiting the potential of that thing in our own minds. But once we break free from those chains, we now see that the world is actually filled with a lot of helpers. We are all helpers on this planet. But we can be our own worst enemies once we are living in ignorance. Then we realize we do not even have to limit people to their actions, sinful or not. The Almighty I Am that gave us life through his breath made it clear to us through those who were in tune with him that he made man in his image. This is not something that we should just overlook. This is something we should keep in mind every single time when we interact with each other. God made you in his image. So me respecting you, loving you, is respecting the Creator. And yes, in our ignorance, us being entangled with the complexity of this material universe, we are going to have shortcomings. We're going to easily get annoyed. We're going to easily get frustrated, especially while we are dealing with other individuals who are at different levels of awareness within themselves. But we must also pray for patience, because our Creator is patient with us. So we pray for patience. We pray for patience, that we should be patient with ourselves, even as we are learning about ourselves every single day, as we are coming into the unity with the Absolute, as we are coming into this awareness of this presence that has always been. We have to be patient with ourselves and patient with others. But we also do have to know our limits, boundaries. Very important. Do not put yourself in harm's way because you are trying to be the great Mother Teresa. Do not put yourself in harm's way because you are trying to be just like Yeshua. Be conscious enough to know your limits, to know when to say enough is enough for your own protection. But in truth and in spirit, thank y'all so much for commenting below, for letting me know what y'all think about this. That way, it doesn't seem like I'm just talking to myself, right? If I'm making sense, let me know your thoughts below. Communicate with me. Like the video, share the video. Maybe I'm speaking words that you've always had at the back of your mind, but you just were not able to process it out accordingly, and you're hearing this and it is putting a smile on your face. And if that's the case, do share it. Let somebody else know that it is true. We can become aware of our labels, but we don't have to subject our realities entirely to our labels, because underneath the name, there is a good human being. Underneath the name, there is a loving human being. A loving spirit, let's put it that way. Underneath the name, there is a loving, caring human being that is journeying within the flesh, learning every single day. Do not subject yourself to vibrations and frequencies that come at you, because that is how the spell works on us. When you say somebody put a spell on you, if your whole life you're growing up around people who have been programmed, or let's use the word conditioned, who've been conditioned to reason within certain thought processes that are not beneficial to your ascension. Once you come across the knowledge of ascension, pray that you do not fall to your ego, where you start to feel like you are now better. But do everything you can to better understand yourself, so you can now become a beacon of light to others, so they can also realize their flame. And this is how we are now going to be as bright as this sunlight that is shining upon all of us today, because we are all emanations of the sun in truth and in spirit. I am so grateful for y'all. Y'all have no idea. Truly very grateful that we can get to talk, and y'all are so far. Wherever you at, drop it below. Let me know what country you are in, what state you are in. Maybe you on Mars. I don't know where y'all is at, but do let me know where you at. Let me know if you are starting to realize that you are more than the vibration of your name, that you realize that your name is but a label, and you go beyond the label. You are more than the label, and that you're stepping out into the world, and you are this beacon of light, and you're letting other people know that they are also more than their labels. Imagine if you identify yourself just as a teacher, which it is good to be a teacher, but then you are so narrow-minded into this title that you don't get to see that you are more than a teacher. You are a loving being. You are a doctor if you so wanted to. You are a therapist if you so wanted to. You are a chemist when you up in the kitchen putting those different ingredients together, spices together, and you whip up this amazing meal, and your family is just super excited and they happy once they try mama's food, once they try father's food. You are a chemist. You are a physician when you're able to, fix the light bulb when it breaks or whatever, when you're able to get into the microwave. You are more than the limited titles that we so narrow-mindedly focus on. And that's because we are one with that Christ energy, which sits behind the veil of all that is physical, the greatest. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I am the common denominator, your spiritual friend in need. And y'all just tuned into my spiritual friend in need. Blessings be upon all of y'all. Wishing nothing but much more abundance in wisdom and knowledge upon all of y'all as you are going about your daily journeys, uniting back to the Almighty I Am. Bless y'all. Stay tuned.